This is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening to The Truth is Still Straight podcast. All right, folks, you're listening to The Truth is Still Straight podcast. And with me today is Jim. Give a shout out to Jim. And I am your host, Jonathan St. James. Thank you. You know who's the favorite here. Damn, they love me. Oh, they really love me. All right. Before we start, we just want to show some love to those who couldn't be here today. Don Marie, Dawn M. Kane, and Donnie St. James. Yes, boo them. Boo them. You're so right, peeps. Boo them. Find where they are and give them a boo. All right, people. So before we start, I just want to give a shout out to those who support the show. Once again, Pedro Falcone, Tatiana Cruz, Lee Jones, Sister Millie from the West Coast. I was giving a shout out to Johanny, but my girl wasn't even watching the show. Give her that. Give her the booze. I gave her some love, shouting her out and thanking her for watching, and she wasn't even watching or listening. All right, who else we got? We got M. Wilkes, Mr. Wilkes. We got Mahir, Milton Gonzalez. I'm not even sure if Beverly's watching, so let me give her a boo too. Yeah, she gets that. All right. And then we got Snotty. And also a shout out to Jennifer Alvarado, who hopefully she made it off of the street onto the curb and got in her home because, she's a little short. So she struggles. Listen, I got to get that laugh track a little better because it takes a while for them to start laughing. I need them to laugh while I say the joke, not after I say the joke. There we go. Okay, got it now. All right. So before we start, I just want to talk about my new favorite show, Bel Air. It's actually growing on me. I actually love that show now that it's on episode 6 now. I'm still not feeling Carlton, but I like the show overall. It's pretty good. Have you had a chance to see any episodes yet, Jim?
No, I wasn't too interested.
That's right. Boo him for that.
Come on now. We want to take away that track from you or something.
Mm-hmm. See, you know what's going to happen for Jim when he doesn't see the show?
Emotional damage.
All right. Okay, folks. All right. So we got a reaction today. This is an interesting one. It's actually on part 3 of Kevin Samuels. And this one, I don't know who he's talking to in this video, but it's who has it better, women or men? And then it's part 2. And we start. Did you see that?
Yeah, I know who she is.
Okay. Who is she?
Her, she's Jamaican, a model.
Yeah, I know that much.
A model. She, I never knew this about her, do this interview and stuff like that. She seems very nice. It's like, you don't get like these type of vibes that you get from her, very interactive. She does that. She's like that. But, unless you really sit down and talk with people, you don't know how they are. And, that's it. She's highly attractive, but I didn't think that, I'll let you go across with the interview, explain to it more. But
yeah, so he didn't tell us anything of what her name is. So you know what? This is what I gotta say to Jim.
Sure.
Oh hell
no! He said all as he followed her. He didn't even say what her freaking name is. Oh my God! Hold on.
Oh my God!
All right, let's start the video. It starts in 10 seconds. She's talking about I try to get the intro because I don't know if it's copyrighted. So I got off the intro, and in the first couple of seconds, she's stating that I was about to say, why is the video not showing? She's stating that she's about to be 50% off because of her age, and then she starts to talk about men that they don't have the same problem. So this is where we take off in the video. Roll that footage.
When does your discount ever happen as a man? Never, right?
But we also have a different.
See,
First,
that mean,
hold
that's
on.
a good
No,
thing right
no.
there. You guys never.
But hold on. But I also got to pay my way everywhere I go.
Facts.
You, as a woman,
Facts.
can choose to trade on your beauty. Society pedestalizes women.
Facts.
And look at the suicide rates. Who's the highest of the suicide rates? The homeless in prison. You look at who's actually suffering in the world, in this country, it's men.
Facts.
I think that a lot of the suicide rates with men have to do with men not expressing themselves.
Not
No
facts.
matter what. Okay, but the numbers are overwhelming. That shows the men are. We have toxic masculinity and misogyny, but women can practice misandry openly.
Facts.
And it was fun as hell. So, ladies, if y'all man cheating on y'all, beat his ass. Beat his ass.
Do you hit men?
Beat their ass.
Do they hit you back?
Never got him back ever.
Now that was mediocre tutorials and reviews, and those ladies were
This is a certified hood classic.
so I don't know where he found the most hood women in the world, but I don't know what kind of men are getting with them.
Nah,
Yeah.
What you said?
They're
I said
everywhere.
that's what I said is I don't know who's getting with them.
Whoa.
All right.
No.
So yeah, because it wouldn't be me. I'm just saying. Because I'm looking at them and I'm like,
damn, son, where'd you find this?
all right, let's stop.
You got women laughing when Lorena Bobbitt cut her husband's thing off. They were laughing about it on TV 2 years ago. But men are being canceled for stuff they said 15 years ago.
That's facts.
And it's all about what? I'm of this way. If women, we're going to either be equals, which means you're free and you take the consequences, good or bad, or there's a hierarchy. But what it seems to most men is women want it all.
Want it all.
What?
I see what you mean where you say a lot of women want it all. You know, they can have their dreams and aim high, shoot for the stars, land on a cloud, right? That's what they say.
Most land on a rock. I don't say that. Let me say why I say that. Because when these shows are over, I do the research. I look at the papers that are written. I look at the women who, I profiled about a month and a half ago, black woman said, I went out and got my education.
I'm a PhD.
She's a PhD. I cut that out, but she lived with her mother and her aunt, and she was into studying and helping young women, such and so forth. Her mother and her aunt died, and she was almost homeless. Because here's a hardcore reality. Let's skip all the way to the end. As a single individual middle-class woman, you are not going to be able to pay for retirement to death. You will not earn enough money.
And I'm gonna stop it there. And I thought about what he was saying there, and it's true. It's true but that's true in a lot of ways, because the problem with that is when you get a certain age, and I didn't even think about this being myself, I'm getting closer to retirement in my life. And it's like you have to figure out how the adjust in the cost of living will affect you when you're on a fixed income. And that's a problem that a lot of older people have. And that's why he's saying that many people need to be married, because even though it's two people, when you have the combined income, what happens is you learn how to consolidate things when there's two people there. You know how to put your money together and you have more money and you kind of live off of the same thing. And the issue is, I guess, in most places when people are not wealthy and they don't have that extra income, what happens is most people, when they get older, they live off of Social Security, which does tend to offer a cost of living increase as time goes by. But this lady, when they're
I'm a PhD.
what happens to them, they gotta, as Kevin Samuels would say,
That's
is
why you would buy a dog and die alone.
and that's facts. And it's very unfortunate how a lot of women think that they have time and they run out of time, and then they realize that all of that
I'm a PhD.
was for nothing. So you get all this, what you think is important for you, but as a lot of people try to explain, it isn't important to men. So when you go, you get a bachelor's, master's, you get a great career and all that. That's fine when you want to talk about accomplishments for your personal life. But when it comes to relationships, how does that factor in you being more attractive and appealing to a man? Unless he's down and out and you can take care of him, which most of the times, even after a while, once you start doing that, you start getting frustrated with a guy who can't take care of himself. So what do you think, Jim?
That's definitely true. I don't know the ideology behind it. Personal accomplishments, like what you said, are always great, but when you have to bring somebody else into it, you have to realize that most people might not really care about it. That's why it's called personal accomplishments and not a group accomplishment. And that's the whole point. Like, you use your personal accomplishments to leverage another person, but the person don't care what do you have. And that's all the whole point. Some individuals think about, they can leverage it to get what they want outside of, work or their field and stuff like that. It doesn't work like that, especially in a social hierarchical circle. Your personal accomplishments means jack diddly squat. You got 4,000 books written. I don't read your books. So what does that mean to me?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about, it's all about not what you can leverage over people, but it's about outside of that, what can you give? What is the person looking for? And if you can assist in giving it, what you may have, the next person might not even need. That's so true. Why are you trying to say that your PhD is universal? PhD is for a specific field. Everything that you get your degree is for a specific field. So why you think your degree is one size fits all out in the dating world? Because you get money? Yeah, that's great. Get money. I get money too. What am I supposed to do?
Nope.
Come on, man. You can continue on, but that's how I feel about it.
All right, let's continue the video. All right, let's see what else they're saying.
You have no family, no network.
No family.
Where are these women going to go? And that's what we don't talk about. We talk about the clouds and the stars, but the largest growing segment of new homeless are women and children.
In other words,
in California, they're popping up all over the place in tent cities because there are no government. The homeless shelters full. Now, the funny thing is, if you look in the United States, there are over 2,000 shelters for women, like domestic violence, these kind of things. You know how many there are for men? What do you guess?
Don't care. Don't know.
100?
So you're going to tell me that we're having balanced outcomes? And see, this is the reality that men know. And this may be new news to you, but most women, it doesn't even matter because it's not y'all's life. It's not y'all's world.
That's and it's fear.
Women to
it's
keep
not fear.
Wishing on
it's
the
not.
star.
Maybe that makes them happy. Maybe. Okay, the reason
Delusion
I've
makes them
seen
happy.
about
Women,
a lot
delusion.
of women
Wish
not being ready
cause
for
delusion.
relationships if they're financially okay has to do with, having infidelity that they've dealt with in the past, or maybe domestic violence.
28% of men, people in couples, people surveyed, 28% of men report cheating, 24% of women. The numbers are almost the same for men and women.
Facts.
For infidelity.
And that's even taking into account women who's actually being honest about it, because we know when women talk, a lot of times what happens in that is
I smell cap.
So women are often embarrassed to revealing the hard truths about themselves. So who knows if that 24% is even accurate, as they may be less inclined to be honest when the truth is flattering about them. So.
Whoa.
But we hear women talk about infidelity like it's 99 to 1.
Right.
24 to 28.
And that's not even including all those men in the friend zone that these women have that are married and in relationships. You know, the guys that are on deck. You know, a lot of times women have friends that can do things for them that often, you know, they give them that non-sexual attention, but we know the guys want the sex. They just hanging around for the opportunity to possibly get it. And this has been shown that that happens more times than not, because there's certain shows like Fresh and Fit that they even test these women and ask them to call their male friends and tell them that they're interested in having sex and see what their reaction is. And more times than not, with the exception of men being suspicious of women calling them, they usually say, okay. And then they kind of get punked after that because they revealed that they're on a podcast. But this happens more times than not. It's very rare that a man and a woman is in a friendship and the man is not interested in having sex. Not to say that that doesn't happen, but more times than not, you have a lot of women who carry male friends that have interest in having sex with them. But of course, it's the woman who decides who has the sexual access, so it doesn't happen. But if that woman says, come on and slide on over, you better believe it. And the difference between men and women don't like to compete for a man. So
right.
if a man, for example, is having relations with two women, they're having sex with two women, the other woman is most likely to cause a problem with the other woman, to break them up and cause problems with the man. Men don't do that. Most men, if they know a woman is married or in a relationship, they'll still have sex with that woman and stay quiet. They'll say nothing. They'll not try to interfere with it and let it go as much as they can. Now, I had a friend that, and it's a funny thing. This is an interesting thing. So, you know, she's married and she was cheating on her husband with one guy, and the one guy got out of the picture, and then she started cheating with another guy. But here was the hilarious part, not haha funny, but strange. So the first guy, both of them, both in relationships, both married. So the first guy got mad because he came back and he found out that that she was having sex with this other guy, and he got upset, and he confronted her like, why are you doing that for? And she told him, you're married, why are you worrying about me? Go to your wife and worry about what she's doing. So it was interesting how that happened. But in generally, if it's just, you know, a guy playing the background with it, you know, most guys will object to the second side piece, or the you know, other men that's involved as the side, but usually don't care, because when the woman goes back to the husband, they don't see, the issue is they don't really have to worry about satisfying outside of sex with the woman. You know, whenever
Right.
they want to hook up, they'll hook up. He might get her something, he might buy her something just to have access to sex, but he doesn't have to maintain a lifestyle. He just has to sort of satisfy her will to continue. Anyway, I just went on for too long. Let's go back to the video.
But your thoughts of infidelity with the high value man?
Can you hear
I'm
that?
not gonna lie, that does
I can hear
get
it.
my skin a bit. I know you don't care. But
Well,
I'm just saying,
well, the thing is, it's not infidelity. I never said infidelity.
exercise their options.
I
It's
said
not
they don't.
cheating.
But did I say it's mandatory? But we can touch on that. But I want to go back to the other one.
Mm-hmm.
See, when we talk about the reason women don't do stuff, and you can just quote verifiable facts, guys, go search it yourselves. That the numbers are there. The infidelity numbers are pretty much mirrored. Women and men cheat at roughly the same rate. And then you get domestic violence. Only thing you can really evaluate that on is reporting. And the numbers
Right,
don't
men,
support that either.
they
And when
don't.
you talk about domestic violence, that 2,000 shelters was for women. That one was for men.
So you think the numbers for men and women on domestic violence are similar as well?
I
If
say that.
men reported what was going on?
Well, first off,
Reported.
men
See,
don't get taken seriously. When the men report that
that's
they're
right.
being abused, their case,
Yeah, let me stop it there and explain a couple of things that is going on in this conversation as part of a break of discussion. So the whole debate is And I'm not here to debate that. I'm just going to hear and speak to the point of what he's saying. That he says men don't cheat, they exercise options and what that means. And also to the other point when he's talking about domestic violence. So with the men don't cheat, they exercise options. What he's saying is for a man doesn't need to be invested in a woman to have sex with her. He can just find her attractive. He can have sex with her and then go on his way. And then on the other side, women must qualify. They often do. Not to say that all of them do this, but the majority of women, unless you have some type of, I don't know how to explain it, some type of issue, mental, emotional breakdown of yourself where you are sort of like a nympho. And even then, you still have to you have to qualify someone in order for them to have sex. Most women don't meet guys and they don't just say, hey, I'm just, hi, how you doing? I just want to have sex with you. They don't just meet men that is just simply attractive and just have sex with men. There has to be a little bit more to it. They have to be really into the person. They have to invest themselves emotionally to agree to have sex most of the times. Now, I'm not going to say that's everyone, but a lot of times it is, because women have a lot of qualifications that they require men to have before they get the attention, nevertheless, the sex. So even just getting hello, how are you doing, and have a serious conversation with a man, the man has to have something that the woman is interested in order to entertain him. You don't just walk up to a woman and say, hey, how you doing? And they're giving you their phone number just like that. There's some earning involved. And so therefore, there's some type of attachment to the person, whether it's financial, whatever it is. It's not just sex and then you go on. There's just some work that has to be involved. Unfortunately, men, in order to get sex from women, they have to talk to the woman, but it's just for the sex and it's not for them because they want a relationship. But more times than not to say that doesn't happen, because men sometimes do that too. But that's the point of what he's saying. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it. I'm just sort of opening the points of his discussion that he's had in other shows that I'm not sure if he necessarily reveals in this one, because I didn't watch this enough to sort of pick that apart. And what was the other one? The domestic violence. And what he's saying is a lot of times men do go through domestic violence. And even in the cases of domestic violence, often women have honestly said, especially on this show, when domestic violence was involved, that they escalated the dispute past the level of argument to the point where maybe there was some, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, there was some escalation where the person sort of egged the guy on, and it escalated from just arguing to physical, pushing, sometimes she pushing him and he pushing back. And then it's elevated from verbal to physical to pretty much him hitting, taking it as far as he could go, and leading to violence. So that is something that he often talks about that happens in domestic violence that men sort of have to contend with. And when the police come, a lot of times it's the guy that sort of gets the brunt of the arrest and the penalties for this domestic confrontation. And also he's saying when men are solely the victims, that a lot of times police don't believe them or take it as serious. So that's what that discussion is about.
You guys want to do more research on this? Men have reported going to police departments and they're being laughed at. They don't get taken seriously. But then do we have equal treatment is the question in reporting?
Of course not.
Well, but where are the women protesting for that, for men to get equal treatment? Because women tend to want men to be on the side of their equality.
Yes.
All I know is there's a lot of black women who get killed every year.
What?
A lot of white women get killed. A lot of Asian women get killed.
Black women get killed more.
Right.
Violence,
What?
proximity-based crime. Every race kills itself.
So I don't know where she gets that from. I don't know what I don't have the statistics on that. I just know from regionally where I live, that doesn't happen a lot. You don't see it does happen. Not to say that doesn't happen at all, but it doesn't happen
That's
at
frequent.
a plethora of death where it's like every day a woman in, for example, in New York, in metropolitan area, they're all dying from domestic violence. Now, domestic violence may happen at higher rates. I don't know how much it happens between Black women, white women, and otherwise, but getting killed doesn't. And a lot of times in those situations, when you talk about Black women getting killed, it's not usually in the relationship. It's usually some guy didn't want to let go. The woman moved on and he got nuts because she was with the next guy. It's never, no, let me not use never. It's usually not in the relationship. It's usually after the relationship where the guy just couldn't move on and he was obsessed with this woman. She moved on and he decided most of the time they kill the woman. Sometimes they kill the woman and themselves. But generally speaking, it doesn't happen in the relationship when they're killing the woman. That's generally it doesn't. I mean, of course, reality states that those things can and do happen. But a lot of times, especially in the cases here, I can't speak for the rest of the country, but a lot of the cases here have been when the relationship was over and these guys just couldn't move on. Not necessarily that they were married to the person or in a relationship and the person just killed them because they had an argument or a dispute or something like that. So, I mean, we can kind of do a show on that, but let's continue.
See, it's not like the numbers are any different percentage-wise, and honestly, it's higher with white women.
With white women getting killed more?
Yes.
Look
it up. But see, the thing is, when I said equality for men, it was kind of like it was met with. And that's the thing.
But I mean, men would have to protest. Men would have to get
No,
together and
men would.
say
You're
something
51% of the You're 51% of the population. What I'm asking is, women want men to stand up for women's rights. And if men did not go along with the suffrage movement, the women's right to vote, all that stuff, you wouldn't have these things. And now we talk about the imbalance in the system. Where are women supporting men's rights? Women here in the state of Florida, a teacher had sex with an underage student, got pregnant, served a few years in jail, came out and put that boy on child support. Now, a man doing that, men don't get the same sentencing. Women get slaps on the wrist with all these things. And the reason we were talking about this is because we talk about relationships, and often you hear these things that men are this or men are that, and you look at the outcomes and the numbers, and men are like, what are y'all talking about? Because the numbers. I don't dispute how women feel about this, but often this is women telling women stuff, but it's not in the numbers.
You know, it's funny. Oh, it didn't stop. Oh, it's not stopping. Let me stop this. All right, let me stop it right there because I wanted to say something about that. And it's interesting that he said that because I was watching, sort of listening because there wasn't any video. And I sent you that link with Patrice O'Neal that was sort of arguing with this woman who, I don't know what to explain. She wrote some book to men and how to get women. And the dispute was, he said, the problem here is you're telling men how to get women as a woman. And he said, you never really went to ask the man about themselves and get their perspective to say how to get a woman. Because how you know what works for you, but you don't know what works for women because you're not a man. So and that's what he tried to explain to her. He said, you're telling men how to get you, not how to get women, because you didn't go to women and ask them. And she admittingly so said she was basing it on what she wanted. And a lot of times what women would do is a lot of women believe that men should be attracted to women the way that women should be attracted to men. And that's not so. Men are not attracted to women because they work at, Wall Street, and they drive a Jaguar, and they live in a mansion or expensive condo and stuff like that, because that has no benefit on what the man is going to be able to do. And a lot of women equate that for being intimidated. But here's the thing. And the problem is not intimidation. It can be a problem because we know that women who tend to earn more than men are often unsatisfied by men because they are lacking what the woman is interested in to be in a relationship. So that is the problem. And men know that. Men know that because many men have been through it. Get in an argument, the girlfriend would call him a broke broke, what. And we hear it all the time. Society tells us, TLC, I don't want no scrubs. Destiny Child, can you pay my bills? Gwen Guthrie, ain't nothing going on but the rent. So we hear these things. Society tells us that you got to be balling. And you got to be able to pay for a woman's lifestyle. A lot of these women think like that. So there's a adversarial relationship when it comes to women and finances to men. So that isn't attractive to a man. Beauty is attractive to men. All those other things, if a man doesn't have to pay down for the mortgage for himself, now what a woman does for a living will matter, because he'll need to offset his income and pay for a lifestyle of being in a relationship. So if a guy can't pay a $3,000 mortgage or a $2,000 mortgage by himself, he's definitely going to need to find a woman that can help him pay that mortgage if, they get married and buy a house. But if a guy can pay $3,000, if a guy can afford a mortgage and a car and a family, what does that do for him that you have a job and you have a career and you went to school?
I'm a PhD.
Those things. So if you got a PhD, that has nothing to do with the guy. That's a person, as we said in the beginning of this show, it's a personal achievement that you have. And the society in general will be very, it will be very admirable to society in general, but it doesn't increase your beauty as a woman. Hopefully this works.
What one? What the one?
The one woman who got pregnant by the.
When a woman is with an underage student, do they typically get the same kind of punishment a man gets when he's with an underage woman?
Nope.
Probably not.
No, probably not. It's not even close. But it's the same thing. Or is it not?
I think men get certain liberties, women get certain
such as what?
liberties. I mean, according to you, in a couple months, I'm going to be 50% off.
Can you stop it there?
Yeah.
Can you stop it? Can you stop it right there?
It stopped.
Every time he asks her a question, she always pivots back and say, according to you. That is not the question, lady. Women have to stop this. This is not only her. When a man asks you a question, it's not for you to say according to what we say. Do not regurgitate what we said. We know what we said. Okay? Answer the question truthfully and properly, please. This is her fourth time pivoting off of a question he asked.
I agree with that. And here's the thing, but I want to go back to what he said, because she skirted over that. When he was talking about when men date underage women, the treatment is different than women date boys. Women dating underage boys versus men, because we don't hear this when it's a woman. We don't hear women saying this.
I'm fighting for my life.
We don't hear that.
Mm-hmm.
But when R. Kelly, that's R. Kelly saying this.
I'm fighting for my life.
There's no interviews like that. You saw how hard Robin Roberts came at
yeah, she did.
She
graded him, baited everything.
Right. She came at him hard. Who's coming at these ladies hard? Nobody.
Yeah, Keith Sweat.
They get to continue on. They get to get their bag, whatever they want to do. And this is what you hear ladies say when it's on them.
Can I do that?
Right. That's about it. So the treatment is definitely not equal. So let me continue this. I'm trying to get through this.
And see, when does your discount ever happen as a man? Never, right?
But we
When you
also
dead.
have a different. First,
I mean,
hold
that's
on.
a good thing
No.
You guys never.
But hold on. But I also got to pay my way everywhere I go.
Facts.
You, as a woman, can choose to trade on your beauty if you want to.
Facts.
For now.
But that's the point. Women. But that's the point. Women get theirs up front via nature. Men have to earn our value. Women
we can earn our value too.
Women are born, and you need to preserve your value. Men have to earn their value, and if you earn your value, who decides how valuable it is, the buyer or the seller? Right.
She said the buyer.
And if women say you should value, which is what women have been saying for longest, don't value us based upon our femininity, our fitness, our friendliness, cooperative, submissive, our womb, this, that. Don't value us based upon our achievement, our education, or this, that. And men say no.
No, not attracted to that.
We value what we value first. And that doesn't mean that that doesn't count, but this is initial. And instead of just saying, okay, we're trying to re-engineer attractiveness.
Right. And I like how he said that, because women, they expect men to be superhuman. They expect them to be superhuman, bionic, $6 million machine, have every qualification in the world. And then women, they basically feel like that they can just wake up and men have to accept that. And then they call on Kevin Samuel's show and he asks them what size dress they wear, and they said size 18, and then he goes, and what happens? Now everybody's mad at him that he played that music.
Everybody mad. Who's mad? Yo, everybody mad. Can I say something? She has not answered one question this man posed.
No.
She looks and smiles. She trades on her beauty to avoid a question, or she pivots back.
Yeah, and she says like Imani Aziz in Coming to America, and she's like, whatever food you like. She kind of just repeats it back to him. Yeah.
I was hoping that she would have more substance to say, but when you really challenge a woman's thinking, and it's just like she has no answer. I wanted to know like where she's getting. Of course, she's not getting information. She's getting gossip, innuendos, and agendas.
Yeah.
That's what she's been receiving. She has not been receiving information. And this is what people have to realize, the difference between information and agenda, innuendo, or gaslighting, or something like that. Because obviously every information that he has given to her, she hasn't had a response or a reply for it. But she's giving him stuff that you'll see online, an agenda, innuendo, something of that sort. She's giving him. I'm not sure if you noticed that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is, you cannot confuse that for information. You cannot.
I agree.
And that's why she has no answer. She has no answer. This is not the more you know. Oh my God. All right, continue. Oh my God.
I'll say this. I don't want to go in there because you're body positivity person. That's not a fair conversation.
You can be as honest.
Well, Lizzo is often in the news about her preferences. Lizzo desires attractive and shape fit men.
She'll probably get one too. She's a Lizzo.
Not generally.
She's lying.
Yeah, that's why she's always, and then when she's crying when she doesn't get
Yes,
Captain America and things like that, because Lizzo can openly say what she wants, and then Chris Evans has to be nice about it. You can want what you want, but can you get it is the question. Men have to ask themselves, can you get it? And women can pretty much want it, and no one is saying anything, and there's only a small segment of women who have the means to live this independent, free life of everything else. But you say men get certain liberties. When what I'm kind of getting is these kind of patriarchy overtones, or that men created this and women are just dealing in it. That's what I'm getting.
From me?
Yeah.
stupid.
I am reciting what I've heard on your previous.
Well,
Wrong.
but
No.
but when did it
No.
become? I guess.
I
Okay.
don't believe that my value is going down ever. I don't feel that way.
Okay.
But
So,
That's
what
ignorant.
product on the
I
market
know the wall is
gains
waiting for her. And
value with age and use?
age and use.
Nothing. Nothing.
But we're not objects, though.
Okay,
It's-
let's
it's-
see.
Come on,
hard to
That's
have-
okay. That's we can do it that way, but see, you're not being. That's the disingenuous answer.
I don't think it's just in
Okay.
But
What?
that's
Okay. You know. You
comparison.
understand. Regardless, don't get stuck on the word product. You understand the sentiment.
Of course.
So what on the market gains value with age and use?
Oh,
with a cricket noise. With a cricket
Someone in
noise.
the comments, please feel
I don't
free
got the
to
cricket.
back this up.
The answer is nothing. This is why you
That's
see
right.
women who were beautiful in the 90s and 2000s and early now on OnlyFans for $2. Ladies,
Yeah.
beauty is finite and has a clock on it.
That's right.
Paulina Korsakova, whatever her name is, I'm sorry, Rick Ocasek's wife. She's the only woman that's been on the cover of Sports Illustrated or something like that 3 times. She was one of the most popular supermodels in the 80s. She just went, she was in the news about a month and a half ago talking about how at her age of 56,
Yeah. I saw that.
58, that she is not getting any attention.
Mm-hmm. Guys,
I feel like men are allowed to age and women are not. Like as men get older, you guys are still attractive in society's eyes, whereas we are not. And
right.
Okay.
Because
I
men get
understand
this
what
when they
you're
get older.
saying about men being attracted to attractive women. I understand that. But
Listen, what you fail to realize, lady, that women know when men get older, they become these. Because their income grows as they get older. And then soon they'll be dead. And it'll be time for them to collect on that death, especially if they're married to them. But yeah, so that's why men are attractive as they get older, because if a man takes care of themselves and they got the finances and the things that women do find attractive more so than looks. Yes, a lot of women live on looks, but many women know that there's more to a man than looks. So they allow themselves to find men attractive that may not be facially attractive, sometimes bodily attractive, but the other aspects of relationships can make up for the lack of looks many times. Not always, but as you can see, there's some kind of celebrities that are out there and they are able to find women.
if that's the case, then we only have 30 years to find our mate, whereas men have a lifetime.
Not a lifetime.
That's
And
not
who do
No,
you,
not
in my
okay,
opinion.
okay, but who you take that complaint up with?
Society, if I could.
No, but society is men and women, but who?
I think the patriarch is the one that created these.
Well, no, nature.
Nature.
Man,
It
men
comes
have,
down to reproduction.
well, yes. What is our purpose on
That's
the
how we
planet? To
go.
procreate. The selfish gene. You do what you do, I do what I do at a base level to make sure our genes get into the next generation.
That's true.
The psychology is settled. So it seems to be that women today are at odds with either, if they're religious, the creator that they believe in, or if they're not religious, science.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want men to do what?
Not put figures on what happens when we turn certain
Well,
ages.
and then women, then how about this? Then why is it on my show that women who rank themselves as average on a day in and day out basis think they would not want a man that's on their level, who's average as well? They put numbers on men every day.
Answer that
You
question.
okay with those numbers though?
Answer.
I'm not those women.
But no,
But
but
I
we're talking
understand
about
that
the
women. Just like men, some men want what they want. Some men who can be making $2
The
a day
man
with
could
one
not
clicking
say.
half an eyeball
It
can
could be.
try to
They
holler
could
at me.
be.
just it's the same thing. A woman can say, "Oh, I wish I could."
This is the conversation going on right now.
You'll never understand me.
You right, because
That's
I don't even
exactly
understand what you just said to me right then.
Let me tell you something. Whoo, this lady. I don't know who's her man, but let me tell you.
What's with kids today, huh? No respect.
Possibility, probability.
Exactly.
Women put numbers on men every day.
Every day.
It's a
Yep.
lie. Women can say they don't want no scrubs. Nigga, please, you work for UPS.
Oh, yeah, I
and
forgot
women
that
can
one.
roar and cheer about that. I want a soldier. But when men put numbers on women, it's offensive.
That's true.
I mean, honestly, do you not see the hypocrisy in that?
I see what you're saying. I understand you.
She never said yes. She
So
never said
I had a
yes, for the
video that
record.
went viral and I talked about double standards. There are double standards that benefit women and double standards that benefit men.
I agree.
That's
All
right.
right. And here's the reality. Women have a roughly, according to nature, a 15-year window, 20 at best, to get the females, need to get the larger parts of their life together sooner because nature begins to close doors.
Nature, yes.
Women over 35, according to the medical profession, enter geriatric pregnancy. It is not suggested, yet we are telling women to delay marriage or relationship until later.
Right.
And after actually in a couple of weeks, I'm going to actually be talking to some doctors and get out here to put the numbers to this because people don't seem to realize how much these IVFs and these fertility treatments and all this stuff costs. It's not just a matter of doing it.
Thousands.
But I've heard and read that when women have children later, let's say 35, 32, they're better off financially, mentally. They know themselves more.
Who? The women?
Yes, the women.
No.
I've seen that. Like,
But
as a
they
society,
also-
we are having children later.
Yeah, and then then you also have a higher risk of
birth defects.
unhealthy pregnancies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or birth defects,
But
autism.
see, the advantages to the women. What about to the children and to the men?
Mm-hmm.
It's what men will hear from things like you're saying is it's all about what women want,
It's all about.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to have
Yes.
a child, though. We have to bring the child, and if the man decides to leave, which my father did,
well,
the woman has to most likely
80% of
carry
divorces.
on.
80% of divorces are filed by women.
That's what it
Right.
is.
Maybe the
You-
man's doing something
No. See how that goes.
But
See
But
how
what
that
does
goes.
that
now I see where her views come from.
Yes.
Now I see. Now everything just clicked.
This is a certified hood classic.
Woman, you have been done a disservice. You need to uneducate, unlearn, and relearn. You have been done a disservice. Your beauty has hit it. Now that you're getting older, men will recognize it.
Nope.
You've been done. Your mother had done you a disservice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a PhD.
Yeah, she now I see why she has no idea about men. She has
As
no
we
idea.
said earlier, this is why.
Emotional damage.
Definitely that mother gave her some.
And that happens all the time. But I find also too, a lot of these parents are telling these kids wrong. You know, they're telling these kids, especially the young ladies, they're telling the young ladies, oh, you know, don't get married before you're 30. I know people who specifically told that to their daughters or to their whoever they're taking care of, because sometimes it's not necessarily a daughter. It can be like a sister that they're raising or something like that. And, you know, the problem is you're sort of recreating the problems you may have had. And that's not a healthy thing when you are basing the dysfunction that you had on a dysfunction that a child had, you think they're going to encounter. The reality of the matter is you have to tell kids how to understand the dynamics of relationships so they can get into one. Telling someone to wait till they're 30 doesn't obviously make a person mature for a relationship. It just makes them, in some instances, too old for a relationship. Because as we said on a different episode, what happens when you turn a teenager? What's the first thing that that the girls have in their mind? They want dudes to
Get in my belly. Come
on. Sex is the desire for sex turns at a teenager. So you're talking about anywhere between, in this day and age, 12 to after. So you have kids that want to have sex. You have kids that are having sex with teenagers. Now we know when kids get into relationships, they get into a lot of relationships. So they get in a relationship here, sex, break up, next relationship, sex, next relationship, sex, next relationship, sex. Who knows how many times this could happen by the time the girl turns into a woman and becomes 30 years old, that you're now telling them that they're ready for marriage. So what happens is, when do young women mature to marriage? Because you're telling the guys, society's telling the guy that they got to be on their A game to be with a woman. That's what society's telling the guy. And if you're lame, you're not getting anything. So if we're telling men that in order for them to attract women, they got to be this, they got to be that, think about it. It's sort of in reverse. Back in the day, men sort of kind of just did, and women were groomed for marriages and relationships. But now they're grooming the men and telling them what they have to do to get these women that are not being told what they should do to become a wife, to become a mother, and those things. So you look at that, and now men are having the understanding of what they need to bring to a table. And then women come and they say, I am the table. And what does that mean? But we have no idea. But I can tell you for sure what that is.
Stupid. Yes.
And the guy who falls for that is
Beta.
So yeah, let's I'm gonna let it play for a little bit more, and then I'm kind of end it, because I don't want to drag on too long. I sort of lost track of time of how long we've already been on, and I try to keep it under an hour if at all possible. But good point that you made earlier.
Have to do with
because you brought in that if the woman decides to advocate and the man leaves, and men, why do y'all go to that to justify?
Because it happens all the
men
time.
don't leave relationships. Men leave relationships, boyfriend and girlfriend, or marriage, roughly 20% of the time. If you look at your relationship history, how many
True.
you had, and how many men have left you?
That's me though.
Right. See, when I ask you a question that gets real, you just gonna go mum, because you know if you say it, the truth is gonna indict it.
But I can't speak for all women.
I'm gonna ask.
I don't know those figures about.
But what I'm gonna ask in this conversation is, can we please table the I can't speak for all women? We get it. We know you can't. We're not trying to ask you to speak for all women. It's
Right.
just, the reality is the statistics show that men are more loyal. We don't leave.
That's
80%
facts.
of divorce filings are by women.
Facts.
80% in our community, in black communities, 80%. In the larger community, it's around 75%. So if you look at the fact that marriages, meaning offer to marry, almost 100% are initiated by men. Whether or not women want it or not, we initiate. We have to propose. You'll accept. Women control access to who has sex, and women have final say on who gets born. Men control access to relationship. If men are initiating marriages at 100% rate nearly, but divorces are initiated at a 75 to 80% rate, those numbers are massively out of balance. 100% over here, and women are leaving these marriages that they say they want almost 80% of the time. Even if we said of the divorces that are filed, fully 50%, half, are for some of the worst, most abhorrent human treatment a man could ever do to a woman. Something that no one could stand for. That would still be 4 out of 10
Still
And that's
too
still
much.
twice as many as
Yep.
men.
So why do you think women are leaving these
Because because one, no fault divorce. Women run their logic through their feelings. Your setup is different than mine. So women can just choose to leave, and there are
That's
no
true.
consequences. Also, the family court system incentivizes it. Women do not run the risk that men do after divorce. Women tend to come out leaving divorces in a better financial position than a
Yep.
man, with the lion's share of the resources, payments, and the children.
Yep.
It's an incentive-based system. And why is that system this way? For marriages in the 50s and the 40s and the 50s, which we're not there anymore. Family court has not stayed up. Has not stayed up. But it's $1 billion industry that's a cash cow to the states.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
And if women are 51% of the voting population, women aren't going to vote to overturn something that's a benefit to them.
Nope.
Got Mary J. Blige complaining about, I'm going broke by paying my husband alimony.
Mm-hmm.
But then women going, hooray! When Jeff Bezos had to give his wife half, and then Dr. Dre had to pay $200 million. It's just not fair. And the funny thing is, women are the ones that always ask for fairness and equality.
Yep.
What more do y'all want? That's what men really want to know, because we got here because it seems today that women don't like who men are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In what capacity? Just what they have to offer?
Well, would you say that the average woman speaks about men in a relationship context in a positive way?
Black women?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Not in the best.
Okay, then what about black women? So I just said, so if you were a man, would you want to be going out here in the world with the way you just said, believe the women talk about men? Just
Nah, B.
image of men.
Probably not.
Oh,
Well, I knew the answer to that.
So I guess when we ask about relationships, how do relationships limit women like yourself?
Like myself. What do you mean by myself?
Like yourself, you're in business. I asked you, what do you want to do with your life? And you said, if I find the right man, or this and that.
If he finds me, you're not gonna like that.
You say it that way. That's what you.
That's why you were.
Let it go, and then we'll talk about this. Just let it go. Let the
Wait,
video.
you over talking Kevin Samuels.
Oh
That's
my
why
God.
you will buy a dog and die alone.
All right.
I believe that's what you believe. But do relationships liberate you or limit you? Marriage.
A marriage. I can say a little of both.
That means no.
But honestly, nope. I see what you mean by relationships, a marriage. You know, you can have a power couple coming together. They do business together. They raise a family together.
Who does business together?
Create a great household. I see the benefits of marriage.
That doesn't happen. Very rare.
I just believe that you don't believe in a Mr. Right. I believe in at least someone who is the most compatible for me on several levels. We're headed in the same trajectory. He's open to new experiences. He's respectful, kind.
And what are you?
On those
What
levels,
are you?
personality levels, in-depth levels.
If she honestly believed that crap,
and that is not something that happens often with me. I've met different.
Let me tell you. Here's the thing, and this is a classic case. I'm gonna kind of end it there because this is kind of just going on at this point. But the reality of this conversation is she is not accountable for anything. And of course, as you see, the man has to bring everything to her, and she has to bring nothing to the man. And that's crazy because
she said she got to find her. How he gonna find her? Listen, she is. I'm saying this right now. She found someone and she ruined it. I know that for a fact.
Yep. And once again, hold on. We got Medea on the line. All right, Medea, what do you have to say again?
All I want you to do is send an ambulance because I'm finna bust a cap in these fools.
Bust a cap in them, Medea, because it's ridiculous. And she did it in a very peaceful way, as peaceful as possible. She wasn't. She was kind but confrontational, and that tells me that in her, she's very astute in her dysfunction, meaning that she has created a whole persona for herself in this manner. So her dysfunction has been interlaced and interwoven into her life, where she actually knows how to navigate through it. Because although she is problematic, and I have to base that on the things that she said, because I can tell she's not married and probably not in a relationship right now, because she didn't say that she was. And that is usually the first thing when women are confronted by difficulties they have with men. In order to quash a dispute, they're going to say, well, I'm in a relationship. So she didn't say that she was in a relationship, most definitely not married. So she has already figured how to navigate to meet men, but not navigate to keep men. And as
Bubba said something I won't ever forget.
And that was that, again, you talk about men being emotionally available to women. It is women who need to be emotionally available to men, because men, the message has not been different for the most part. When you have to get into a successful relationship with a woman, it is the woman's role in a relationship that has been changed to men, because people have felt over time that women can be just the same as men.
Yeah.
But as you can see, there was a video recently on YouTube. I should have had it for this conversation, but there was a woman scared to death, a soldier in the army, that she would be deployed to the dispute in Ukraine. So clearly, men can't go on and talk like that on YouTube and be okay with it. And that's not the first video that I've seen of a woman soldier that has expressed her displeasure in going. I have friends that are in the military and they are scared to death every time that they're deployed overseas to Afghanistan, to this country, to that country, that it's had their issues with war or fighting or something like that. They're scared to death every time they go there. And not to say that's the case for all women, but men don't have the ability to say those things and not receive backlash for feeling that way. Because of course, when men have feelings, women say all the time that men should be allowed to show their weakness or their vulnerability, but we know that eventually women call men beta, and it's negative against them. So that doesn't happen. And this lady, I don't know where she's at in life. I'm sure she'll be able to find men, but she'll have to alter. She'll have to alter her appearance in the future. She'd have to transform if she wants to find a successful relationship. But right now, the way things are going, she's going to meet a man, and then she's going to strike out. All right, folks. So we've gotten to this part of the show, relationship bracelets, bringing hearts together, one heart at a time. Jim, always with the grudge for giving us the braces, but it's your fault we got relationship braces. So you're going to answer to this woman that you said is, Jamaican, but then give us a name, but she needs to figure it out. So if you could offer some advice on women like her, please do, Jim.
She's Jessie Wong. If you want to find her on Instagram, I know her issue. It's prevalent in the West Indian community. I have been a byproduct of this. So I know damage from that when I see it. She has to, she's in her 30s. Listen, when you find yourself in a confrontation like that, I'm not going to use her as an example. You have to make it your business to unlearn and relearn. Okay, some of the things you learn as a child growing up through your parents, especially if it's a single household, when you go into the real world, half of it is bull. The majority of it is bull. You are trapped in a box that they have set for you because that's where they have been, especially if they are first American, first generation American. They first come over to the country and you're the first generation American. Things don't, from the country that you come from or originated from, it doesn't work the same way here. We have a whole bunch of contingents of other races, other religions, other stuff like that here. It doesn't work. Okay, you have for over here, in most places in the Caribbean where they're from, the places are small. They're small, and compared to where you're coming to in the United States, they're smaller. It's more like Cheers over there. Everybody knows your name. I know that for a fact. If you come from a West Indian country, everybody knows somebody. So yeah, definitely. Sometimes you want to go. That's why people go back there, because they know there. But over here, it's bigger. You have to expand your thinking, and that requires you to learn other things that are outside your norm. The problem is if you want to receive it. Unfortunately, she got trapped. Her mother did her a disservice. Very beautiful woman. If she would have expanded her horizon and brought upon, not worrying about gaslighting or social justice type issues that are framed in certain ways, and she just expand her thinking about, why they're framed that way, this, that. I think she would have a lot. She would have been married by now. She definitely would have been married. But it's the ideology. And when Kevin Samuels was shattering it little by little, she had no response, just a smile. And it's like, you're coming to me with these questions. Where's generally your honesty of taking in these things and actually absorbing it and trying to recognize that some of these things that you have learned may have not been correct, or it may have been skewered. And I just didn't see it there with her. I just didn't see that, you have to, when you are being confronted with data, statistics about stuff that is shattering your beliefs of what you think that you know, you have to start thinking beyond of what somebody taught you. And most of these women don't do that today. It's just to keep the issues at hand so they can have the upper hand in society. And like I said before, it's not about equality anymore, it's about domination. They want to be the dominant thing of have their cake and eat it too, while the men are still being required the same thing. Nothing has changed for the men. Everything has changed from a women's standpoint. And as the men collectively get together and realize that what the pushback is now going to be, we're misogynists, we are stuff like that, when we are just taking something out of a woman's playbook. You don't like it when it's back on them, but when it's on the man, it's okay. And it's unfair. And it's about, what she didn't realize, what she doesn't realize is that it's the same equality as is in gender, the same equalities available as in race. So if there's the same equalities in race, and you're not speaking about that, but you're talking about the same thing in gender, what's your issue of that? You're female, but you're also Black. You speak about Black issues as well. I mean, do you care about, the double standards for race or even for religion issues? It can't just be just about gender. So I mean, it's all about, to me, once you've learned as a child and once you get into adulthood, some things you're gonna have to unlearn and relearn in a more expansive society because of where you are, not where you've been. And once you do that, you'll be able to understand. You don't have to sympathize. You ever see it correct? It's a part of understanding. You'll be able to do that more instead of just dismissing.
Types of men. I value men.
That's wrong, but I meant to say this. I pushed the wrong button. Oh man. Sorry folks. I won't be able to edit that. All right, folks. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you got something out of it. But if you didn't, that's okay. And if, of course, as always, we appreciate your comments, likes, shares, whatever you're doing out there in the real world. And with that being said, this is Jonathan St. James. And of course, once again, this is The Truth is Still Straight. And that's Jim along with myself. And we are out.